Welcome everybody to a playoff preview for the matchup coming up tomorrow. It's going to be played at Target Center. We know now who we are facing. It is the Golden State Warriors for your Minnesota Timberwolves. We're going to kind of go over everything today. Playoff matchup. Do we like the matchup? Do we dislike it? Did we want the Rockets or did we want the Warriors? What do we think of the series and more? We're going to get into the show. We got people joining. This is a live recording podcast episode. Welcome into the Daily Wolves courtside. Matt, Trip, we're on. We know, man. We know the Warriors are the opponent. And it just seems like if Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves are going to go through this playoffs and they're going to make it to the end, you can't do it the easy way, right? This kid's got to prove every single thing. He has a chance to knock off all the legends and collect all the Infinity Stones, man. Isn't this crazy that I feel like you're going to get to see all the legends play? Steph Curry is just the last here of the legend. What do you make of the Warriors matchup? I guess your first impressions, Trip.
Was kind of debating who I wanted to play more. I really didn't have a strong answer. I like the idea of rolling out the big lineup again and just keeping that train rolling, the momentum from last series. I'm assuming Draymond's gonna, try to get, Punk, Julius and Rudy a bit, but I like the matchup. I mean, but of course I say this every series because it seems like, to your point, Evan, we're always going up against a legend. It's another one, Steph Curry, one of the scariest guys to ever go against. So nervous from what to come, but optimistic.
What about you, Matt? Did you like the matchup or dislike it? What do you think of facing the Warriors over the Rockets, man?
Yeah, it was one of those ones that, I kind of flirted with too, like you said, Trip. Like, there's pros and cons to both matchup. Like, you have a young, inexperienced Houston team, kind of reminded me of our team 2 years ago in, like, the Grizzlies series, So you have the young, inexperienced team. But on the other hand, you have the older team who just went to 7 games, who also has a one-day rest, who, to be quite frankly, not to disrespect anybody else on the Warriors, kind of don't have much offense outside of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, but we know what Steph's capable of. We know what Jimmy's capable of in the months of May and June. So I like the matchup. I hope that I don't eat my words here, but I think that we have the perimeter defense to contain Steph. I think that we have the bodies. We've seen Nas, we've seen Dante get into foul trouble against LA. We know we can pull it out. We know that we have the bench depth. So I think it could be worse, but all in all, I kind of like the matchup.
God, I hate that fucker, Jimmy Butler. I hate him so much. I had to put that out there. Sorry for the language, guys, but that is how much I dislike that man. If I could rank players of the top 3 guys I hate in the NBA, I'll start at number 3, guys, for you. It's going to be Draymond Green sitting at 3. And he's, of course, in the series. Joel Embiid at number 2 and Jimmy Butler at number 1. 2 of the 3 that I hate the most in the league are coming back to play us in a series. I think a lot of fans in Minnesota would say that on their hated list, in the top 10 at least, Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler are both on the list, guys. And the one thing the Rockets series, if we ended up playing Houston, is it doesn't bring that history. You know what I mean? It doesn't bring that like fan side where the fans are they just hate him so much. I mean, I just feel like if Houston came to town, we know the crowd is going to be crazy in Minnesota. It's going to be electric. It always is. We have great fans in Minnesota, but I just think it brings it to another level when Jimmy Butler is going to step on the court. I mean, he hasn't played here since Anthony Edwards was a sophomore season. Anthony Edwards had that big monster dunk that got called an offensive foul when Jimmy Butler played for the Heat, if people remember what I'm talking about. So it's been a long time coming for Jimmy Butler. I mean, the last time he was in the building, boys, Rachel Nichols chants were going on in the arena. And so it's crazy, man. I mean, how can he dodge it this time? He can't run anymore. We're finally going to get to see Jimmy Butler versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Are you excited to see that, Trip?
I am. Yeah, he's always seemed to dodge it. You're either going to get the best out of him or the worst. I don't think there's going to be anything in between. I think Jimmy's going to go for 30 plus or have a really, really bad game. Is he going to feed off the negative energy, or is he going to kind of pull a Luka on us last year a bit when the crowd gets going? Is he going to respond well? So slightly nervous, but I'm often said to be too optimistic, so I'm taking a much different approach to every series this year, and it seemed to pay off for me. So I'm excited to see it. Although Cat's not here to defend himself anymore, feels like 10 years ago that this Jimmy incident happened. But I'm excited to see it. Yeah, definitely.
There's nobody on the current roster, I don't think, that was on the team previously when Butler was here. All the coaching staff's different. I just some of the front office people probably remain. So I'm just curious to see it. I mean, it's a completely different team, guys. The one player that we're not talking about in this series that I think is going to affect it the most isn't even a player, guys. It's our boy Jordan Dye. Shout out to Jordan center court. I think Jordan's gonna have a big impact in this series, man. I don't know why. I just feel like he's gonna heckle the crap out of Butler. We know he's going to. He has pictures of him doing it in the past. Shout out to Jordan, man. I know he's probably like, I don't know if he's tuning in, but hopefully this gets to him because we need you to be loud, get in their head this series. Because I think Jimmy's someone who's, especially Draymond. Draymond will clap back for sure. But then there's the other side, Matt, which is Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert going back and forth at it together. We saw it last year. We've seen Draymond put him in a headlock. We've seen the guys on TNT with Draymond last year in the playoffs trash Rudy Gobert, and then Anthony Edwards and multiple guys on the team not want to make any comments or appear for player interviews anymore because they want to stick up for Rudy Gobert. This animosity, it's going to be something insane to watch. Do you think Gobert can hold his composure, or what do you think the Wolves, does it like add fuel to the fire? Well, what's that like, Matt?
Well, I think Rudy is going to hold his composure just fine. I think it's going to be a when does Draymond do some stupid shit that makes Rudy lose his composure. So, I mean, like, I don't really worry about Rudy going out of his way. Like, whenever Rudy has something, it's like a bump to the back of somebody's head. Like, it's never really anything crazy. Like, I'm going to grab your neck, choke you out, or just pick you up and slam you. It's always just like, it's chippy play. And that's what's going to happen in the playoffs. So, I expect it to happen because, like you said, the history is there, the rivalry is there. And to your point with the guys on TNT, at this point, dude, just hating on Rudy Gobert is a trend. Like, those guys, they're clowns. You guys see it all over social media. Everybody tuning in sees it. They watch the primetime games and kind of read the box scores. So anything with like the TNT, like, that's not much, but I think, yeah, Rudy, he definitely could have a big impact this series. We saw what he did. Game 5 versus LA. He just completely took advantage of no center on the floor. When the Warriors aren't playing Quentin Post, it's going to be Draymond Green. It's going to be Jimmy Butler. It's going to be, you don't have tall lineups. So I think that Rudy definitely does have an opportunity to capitalize in this series. It's just, how are we going to use him offensively?
He has to, man. He has to, guys. If Rudy Gobert doesn't have a big series, the Wolves, they probably don't win. I mean, you have Naz Reid as well, but the bigs have to dominate. Golden State, they struggle against that right now. They struggled in the first round on rebounding, and Minnesota was really good rebounding against the Lakers. I mean, obviously we saw LA didn't put a lot of size with they went small ball guys, and they didn't play Jackson Hayes. Kuminga didn't even play for the Warriors mostly in the first round. And so we might see more Jonathan Kuminga because just of the size that Minnesota brings in the matchup. I mean, Kuminga is basically a clone of Julius Randle's body. So, I mean, he's a strong guy, and I think they might need to bring him in. So I'll be curious to see what the Warriors do in that aspect. But Rudy Gobert has to dominate. Naz Reid, he's gone out before against the Warriors. We've seen it before. He has to have a big series. I thought his first round series was quiet. He had eruptions. He was clutch in certain moments. He was elite in the fourth quarter for the Timberwolves. But other than the fourth quarter, guys, Naz Reid was kind of silent. I think as well going into the series, along with those guys dominating, this is a series that I think, let's say you go up against the Rockets. I'm not sure. They're a bigger team, right? They're bigger. I could argue sometimes stronger. They're younger. They can run the floor. They're nasty. They can defend. And I think that poses a little bit of matchup. Not nightmares, but it's not as good of a matchup for guys like Nikhil, Mike Conley, Dante DiVincenzo. But now with the smaller lineup that I think the Warriors, have, and I think Curry's just a smaller guard, that's probably easier for, I'm not saying, just a little bit easier for Mike Conley. It's tough to say because it's still Steph Curry's going to go get his, but it's probably a little bit better Mike guarding Curry. And then you have Nikhil, who I think is going to have a bigger series because they matched up against the Warriors. Dante, because they matched up against the Warriors. What do you think of that trip?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can go into it with the mindset of like, there's a good chance that Curry will probably get his on several occasions throughout the series, and you live with that. It's not ideal. It's never fun. It can be demoralizing when Steph's just raining threes. But at the same time, I think you just have to live and die by letting him get his and be at peace with it. Guard him to the best of your ability with, like, to your point, Conley, whomever, and really just try to dominate the physicality game because Draymond Green kind of generates a lot of that physicality for that team. And I think to your earlier point that you posed to Matt, if we start eating the glass early, Draymond's going to be pissed, and that's where you get him real, into some trouble, technical, flagrant, etc.
Yep.
But really, to round out your question or your statement, let Draymond do his thing. Or I'm sorry, Steph. It is what it is. Hopefully, he has a quiet series and doesn't shoot it well. But the key is kind of making someone else beat you.
That's kind of the point that I was going to make too to this series. Last series, Ant went out and said it didn't feel like an Anthony Edwards series, right?
Yep.
This series, it feels like it's a top-heavy series. It feels like it's going to be Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry versus Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and Jaden McDaniels. That's what it feels like to me. And to your point, Trip, Steph's going to go get his. Do we take an approach of this like a Los Angeles Lakers series, like we did with Luka? We're going to go let him score. We can't let Steph playmate, because I feel like Steph is an underrated playmaking guard. For the last how many years he's came out, he's averaged 5, 6, I think even 7 assists one year. So he is very, very capable of getting his teammates involved. But I look up and down the roster, and I'm not comfortable saying that Brandon Pajemski, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Gary Payton are going to go out and score you 15, 16 points when you need. I know that our guys, I know that we can have Naz Reid do that. We can have Rudy Gobert do that. Jaden, Nikhil, Dante, Mike, once in a blue moon, it'll happen for some reason. But we just have the depth. We have the offensive firepower. And I feel like the Warriors just kind of caps out, or I guess there's a bigger gap, I should say, in between Steph, Jimmy, and then the Brandon Pajemskis, the Trace Jackson Davis, and Draymond Greens of the world.
No, I like that. And I also, that the fact you brought up Mike Conley as well, for guys who could go off at any moment. I think Mike's one of those guys that could have a bigger series. I think the first round, it wasn't his series, due to size, but Curry isn't the biggest guard, and he's going to be matched up against Mike Conley. I think that matchup favors Mike Conley, just to an extent, just because Curry's not notoriously the best defender. And I just think, again, Mike Conley should be able to hopefully get by him. And then you have options, because you'll have the bigs rolling to the hoop. Golden State, if they go small, you have that option. We know Conley and Gobert's connection. Then you have all the other guys on the perimeter. It could be really dangerous for the Golden State Warriors. We'll be right back, guys. We're going to go to an ad read real quick.
It's playoff time in Minnesota. The energy is electric, the stakes are high, and every move counts. You can feel it, right? The momentum, the nerves, the is this really happening buzz. The spring real estate market in the Twin Cities has the same kind of energy. Headlines are flying out about interest rates, the economy, and what's coming next. It's exciting, yes, but also confusing and a little bit overwhelming. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or just wondering if that Zestimate is lying to you, don't overthink it. Go to wolvesrealtor.com and connect with Heather. She's not just a fan in the stands. She's on the court every day with Exit and North Star Realty, reading plays, adjusting the strategy, and helping people make confident moves, not panicked ones. Even if you're just curious or unsure about the next step, wolvesrealtor.com is where you start. No pressure, just real talk, real answers, and a game plan that actually works. Because when it comes to real estate, just like basketball, having the right coach makes all the difference. Go check out wolvesrealtor.com and tell them Matt from the Daily Wolves sent you.
Yeah, I think, guys, when we look at just the matchups too, if you go up against Houston and Fred VanVleet was the main guard and they run a pick and they kind of switch it up, then all of a sudden Mike switched on to Amin Thompson, who's big, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith Jr. We can just keep going, right? Vice versa, if Nikhil's playing Dante, again, they're switching onto these bigger guys. I think Golden State just they don't present that. So I think just these players are going to have better series. Nikhil was quiet in the first series. I think he came in and he played really good defense, but he just wasn't able to get down and do what he normally did. I think with this matchup, I just think Nikhil is going to have a really big series. I think Dante was off as well. What if he goes off? We know how big he was against the Warriors earlier this season. He actually went off against them before getting hurt in that game. And then, of course, we talked about it, Naz Reid. I think all these different players, they have to come to the floor. I think this series is just going to be so fun to watch. I mean, it's Steph Curry, Draymond Green, ultimate trash talking between Ant and Draymond. It's going to be awesome. What else you guys think?
Yeah, Ant got his wish. He wanted the Warriors in the playoffs. This is what he wanted, and I feel like Ant's going to feed off that. He's going to thrive off that. We see him when the lights are the brightest. He shows up, and like I kind of said, what he's wanted. He wants to go at the legends' throats. He wants Steph. I know. Say what you want. Draymond Green, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be an all-time great. So those are the guys he wants. He shows up. He's not going to wait for these guys to fall off. He is going to go out. He's going to take it. He's going to go out to kill. So that's my big thing this series. I truthfully think that we're going to see this series, Anthony Edwards' best playoff series yet. That is my bold prediction for this series. I said it earlier. I don't think the Warriors have the defense to contain Ant for 5, 6, 7 games, for however long the series may go. They're old. The Warriors are old. They just came off 7 games, 1 day's rest.
Yep.
I look up and down the roster. Draymond Green's not going to defend Ant. I don't think Jimmy's going to be able to hang with Ant. You need him on offense. Are you going to play Gary Payton for 42 minutes a night? So I'm expecting an all-time series from Ant. Anything that you guys would have to say about that? Yes,
yeah.
no?
What do you think? What do you think Ant's going to average, Trip, in the series? Let's just random prediction.
Wow.
Just the vicinity. What do you think?
27.
Okay, 27. Yeah, I could see it. I think I agree with you. Around 27. I think Jimmy's hobbled, and we saw that in the series, the Houston series. He's dealing with an injury right now, and he probably wouldn't be playing guys. He'd probably be sitting games if they weren't in the playoffs. And then Steph Curry's a bit banged up as well. I mean, they're kind of limping through the Houston series. It goes to Game 7. You're sitting there when they're up 3-1, and you're watching, and you think, boy, Golden State's going to close this out. They're going to have some rest, but we're still going to have a little bit more. Then, of course, Houston, shout out Houston. They come back, force a Game 7, and now they only have the 1 day's rest you're talking about. I think both matchups, whether we played the Rockets, there's just different things they possess that are kind of that the Golden State Warriors don't possess, and vice versa. And so there's things to pick and choose that we could say it'd be better if this, it'd be better if that. At the end of the day, you got to respect your opponent that's across you. Notoriously, this team has laid eggs in the year. I'm going to say this before we have the series because we have a 5-day rest, and Minnesota knows now they have the home court advantage. The one thing I will say is I do like the Warrior series, but I don't like that we're playing the first 2 games at home. And that's because Minnesota does not play good on this year. They just haven't been a great home team. And I just think there's something about the Wolves going on the road, being a little bit doubted, and wanting to shut up the opposing fans. That arena, the team feeds off it. They live off it. And just getting that one game, just even a split series, coming back home is like one of the reasons I think Minnesota exploded with the Lakers. Is it just gives them so much confidence. We saw it last year when Minnesota, the first couple rounds, guys, they played so well. And then when we got to the Dallas series, Dallas didn't have as much rest as the Wolves. Minnesota laid an egg, and we were down, treading for water against Dallas, down to 0-2 in the series, and we just never recovered. Kind of got shocked by these, Kyrie Irving, amazing playmakers, Luka Doncic, and now we're kind of in a different way. Jimmy Butler's a really good facilitator. It's playoff Jimmy. We know how he is in the playoff. He's a riser. We've seen him play here before. He's a really good player. And then, of course, knows how to win. And then you have Steph Curry, who's an all-time great facilitator, can shred down a defense. So you got to respect the opponent. It's tough to say what they're going to do. I think if you're going to defend, you got to have Rudy Gobert sag off of Draymond Green and just leave him open, let him shoot all day from 3, because you're going to need the help defense. Conley's going to get probably cooked by Curry on a lot of occasions, which isn't really, what are you going to do with Steph Curry? But then there's the help defense. Then Rudy Gobert can come in and help clean up the mess and help Mike Conley hopefully force out a pass. I think that's something that's going to be like, watch how they play defense. And if Draymond Green struggles in the series, it's going to be huge for Minnesota, because Gobert's always going to be there to help out with any player who gets beat, guys. That's going to be key to this series. Hopefully they can extend the series or just, do what they did in the Lakers series, guys, and they take care of business in 5 games.
Yeah, that is definitely the big hope here. And I feel like my only caveat to your point about us starting at home, I wasn't in Target Center last year for the playoffs, right? And I heard it was crazy. It was loud. The 2 games for the Lakers series throughout social media, you heard it on the broadcast. You heard it from reporters that the arena was just rocking the whole time. And I feel like, we're a great team that thrives off energy. Once the crowd gets pumping, man, and shots start falling, we are a tough team to beat. So if we can get that crowd into it early in Game 1, early in Game 2, I truthfully think that we could wrap this series up in another 5 games.
And shout out to the Wolves, guys, for before I get you on 2 seconds. Shout out to the Wolves for actually doing T-shirts in round 2. Just wanted to point that out. That's a game-changing thing. I think it builds to the atmosphere. What were you gonna say, Trip?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I said it before the first series. Say it again. Yeah. You go small, we go big. May the best man win. But secondarily, I'm gonna take this hot take of the century. If the Timberwolves win the series, Dante DiVincenzo is gonna be the MVP against his former team.
Hell yeah!
I freaking love that. That is,
I love it.
Literally the end. That is the GOAT. It's the MVP of our show. If he goes off and Trips right, we're just gonna put him up in the corner for a little bit where the courtside
for
logo is.
real.
We're gonna sub
Move
it with a Dante DiVincenzo head for a few episodes and roll with it. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting, guys. Obviously, 8:30 tip tomorrow. We appreciate everybody for joining in. We're gonna be doing a giveaway. Somebody is donating an art piece. It's sweet. It's unseen before. It's gonna be live tonight. So if you're watching, or you're definitely going to want to check that out. Be watching our socials in the next 30 minutes or so. You're going to see the giveaway go up. Enter. You never know what can happen. And as always, guys, go Wolves.